Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Onville Legend Day 26 here. I wanted to share my thoughts about the 16th episode of the 10th season of The Walking Dead, which was called A Certain Doom. Now, this episode was meant to be the season finale, but because of what was going on around the world, the crew has to add 6 more episodes to the 10th season, so this isn't the season finale as we all thought it would be originally. It was supposed to air back in April, but because of what was happening around the world, it was in post-production, so they had to wait a few more months before they could release it. So it was a good episode in my opinion. A good way to, it was a good episode. It was a good way to to entertain us after the long break. So let me recap what happened in the episode. So in the episode, okay, they're everybody from all the groups are preparing for the invasion that Beta and the Whisperers are forming against them. And we see Father Gabriel trying to help people, trying to lead people to safety, and we see him talking to 2 children, telling them about the different groups. Alexandria, he points them on his fingers. Alexandria, Hilltop, Kingdom, Oceanside, and he points out a 5th group, which is everybody else. The others that are assisting them and helping them. Meanwhile, Eugene, the Japanese girl, I forgot her name, Yumiko, I think her name was, yeah, the Japanese girl, Ezekiel, and the new character that, yeah, they're all working together to find this Stephanie person that Eugene was emailing. So they're all working together, and then meanwhile Maggie Lauren Cohan returns to The Walking Dead after being gone for most of season 9 and for most of season 10. Because her actress was on this show Whiskey Cavalier, which only lasted 1 season, which isn't really too surprising. No offense, but that show, not really my type of thing. I never even watched the show, and already I know it's not really that good. If it lasted only 1 season, then it must not have been very entertaining. Honestly, Lauren Cohan probably should have stayed on The Walking Dead, but that's just a personal preference. So anyways, yeah, so Lauren Cohan, as it is, returns from that show. Maggie returns returns to the show after the long break, and now she's on the, now she's on The Walking Dead, alright? She came back, she's a special guest star in the episode, and she gets a letter from Carol saying that Enid, Tara, and Henry were all killed by the Whisperers, along with a bunch of other people, and they were murdered by a group by the Whisperers, and Maggie decides to return and help out, So anyways, they're all at Hilltop, I think, trying to stop the Whisperers, and then Negan decides to stay back and not help out because, I mean, he's already on the wanted list because after what he did to Alpha, cutting her head off, killing her, carrying out Carol's orders. But Daryl tells him to cut the crap and to join them, to fight alongside them. Okay, and then meanwhile, Beta is leading the Whisperers to the group. He's trying to lead them against them. He's been trying to encourage them to fight against them and everything. Yeah. So then Carol and Lydia are together, and Lydia apologizes to Carol, and Carol apologizes to Lydia. Lydia told her the truth that Alpha was never really her mother, and the two, I guess, reconcile, after all that's happened. And meanwhile, Judith is with the other Alexandrians as they're all holed up together, trying to stop the Whisperers and trying to flee for safety, So what they do is that they all put walker blood on themselves to draw the walkers away. Unfortunately, however, this gets one of the members killed. Beatrice, I think her name was. Yeah, Beatrice gets killed. So that's an unfortunate loss. And also, the members of the Alexandrian group, I think, were all leading the Whisperers away, using loud music to draw away the walkers. But then one of the Whisperers throws a knife into Oscar's chest. Yeah, it was kind of disrespectful to the Talking Dead because they didn't include Oscar in the in memoriam section when they were showing the faces of the fallen. They left Oscar out for some reason. I mean, they should have left Oscar in, even though Oscar was only a recurring character. It doesn't seem right just to leave Oscar out. But anyways, yeah. So Oscar died, Beatrice died, and then the group finds themselves in a confrontation with Negan. I'm not Negan. Sorry, I mean Beta, yeah, Beta, and they end up throwing two knives into Beta's face. Okay, Beta's eyeballs get, he gets like a little blood because of because of the confrontation, and then flashbacks of Beta with Alpha pop up, and then Beta ends up dead, and the Whisperers and the Walkers end up consuming him. So yeah, that's a good thing then. Can't bother them anymore. Alpha gone and Beta gone. The worst seems to be over. Seems to be, I'm saying, because it could always get worse. Because we still don't know we still don't know who Stephanie is. We still have no idea where she is. So Eugene still has to work on that. And yeah, I thought it was a good episode in my opinion. Let me see. Yeah. So meanwhile, Father Gabriel is like fighting with the Whisperers, and then all of a sudden Maggie and somebody else show up, and like Maggie ends up fighting them, ends up throwing a knife into one of their chests and killing them. So Maggie reveals herself. So yeah, it's pretty good to see her come back and everything. So at the end of the episode, they're all reconciling, they're all reuniting and celebrating. Maggie reunites with Judith, and Aaron's kid, Gracie, I think her name was, and Lydia and Negan talk a little bit. So everything seems to be fine, but not all fine. However, because Eugene, Yumiko, Ezekiel, and they're all and the new girl, they're still looking for Stephanie, you know. But then all of a sudden, like when they're walking through the field where they were supposed to meet her, all of a sudden a bunch of soldiers walk out with white uniforms, and they look similar to the soldiers you see like in the Star Wars films. They look similar to those kind of soldiers. They look very similar in the uniform style. So that's definitely something to look forward to in the next episode. That was a pretty good twist in my opinion. With that being said, that's the episode. That's what I thought about the 16th episode of the 10th season of The Walking Dead, A Certain Doom. It was a good episode in my opinion, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the 11th episode will turn out. And with Maggie back, things are certainly gonna heat up. That's gonna look amazing. But with that being said, those are my personal thoughts. Tonville Legend 826 out.